Welcome to Epic Thinkers, where powerful stories meet life-changing lessons. At just 9 years old, Robert Kiyosaki and his best friend Mike were already curious about how money really worked. They didn't want to simply wait until adulthood to start earning, they wanted to learn the secrets of becoming wealthy right away. So, they went straight to Mike's father, the man Robert would later call his rich dad, and asked him to teach them. Rich Dad agreed, but not in the way they expected. Their first task: cleaning one of his many stores for the tiny sum of 10 cents a week. For 3 long weeks, Robert endured the dull routine and low pay, growing increasingly frustrated. He began thinking, why am I doing this? Should I just quit? And that's when Rich Dad decided it was time for the first real lesson. Second point, the turning point. Rich Dad explained that most people, when faced with low pay, will either complain or leave their job. But the truly successful see beyond the paycheck, they see an opportunity to learn. He told Robert and Mike that working solely for money keeps people trapped. Instead, the wealthy work to gain skills, knowledge, and experience that can later generate far greater income. Then he gave them an unexpected challenge: keep working, but for zero pay. At first, this seemed absurd. Why would they work for free? But the point was clear: without the distraction of a paycheck, they would have to think creatively about how to earn money on their own. Third point, the birth of an idea. It was during this unpaid period that inspiration struck. Robert and Mike noticed stacks of old comic books lying around in the store, books that customers no longer wanted. An idea began to form. They could collect these in used comics and rent them out to other kids. And so, they created their first business, a small comic book library. For just 10 cents, children could read as many comics as they wanted for 2 hours. The boys even hired Mike's younger sister to manage the place, paying her $1 a week. This was their first experience with leveraging other people's time and creating a system that earned them money without their direct labor. Fourth point, the lesson learned. Soon, the little library was making around $9.50 each week, far more than their original cleaning job, and without them having to be there all the time. It was a revelation. Robert learned that true wealth doesn't come from working harder for someone else, but from building systems and assets that generate income independently. This first lesson, the rich don't work for money, would stay with him for life. It taught him that financial freedom starts with a shift in mindset, from chasing a paycheck to creating value that works for you, even when you're not working. Next lesson: why provide financial education. This breakthrough led Robert to a deeper and more challenging question: if understanding money is so crucial to life, why didn't school teach me this? He realized that the lessons he needed were nowhere in the textbooks. And that's when Rich Dad introduced Lesson 2, the vital importance of financial education. He explained that the gap between the wealthy and the poor isn't just about luck, hard work, or even ambition. It's fundamentally about knowledge and understanding how money works. Traditional schools, as they exist today, are designed to create employees, not entrepreneurs or investors. They teach you how to follow instructions, get good grades, and land a stable job, but they rarely equip you with the mindset or skills to grow wealth independently. That's why so many of the world's most influential entrepreneurs, people like Steve Jobs, Mark Zuckerberg, and Bill Gates, either dropped out of school or followed unconventional paths. They understood that the real lessons for financial success were learned outside the classroom, through experience, experimentation, and self-education. These individuals weren't just lucky, they mastered the principles of money, risk, and opportunity that schools often overlook. Second point. Rich Dad emphasized that schools rarely teach the fundamental principles of personal finance: how to manage money, how to invest wisely, how to build and protect assets. These are the very skills that enable the rich to continuously grow their wealth, even in difficult economic times. Financial freedom doesn't come from working harder for someone else, it comes from learning how to make your money work for you. It's not about the size of your paycheck, but about how well you manage, preserve, and grow your income. Assets, whether investments, businesses, real estate, or intellectual property, are the tools that generate lasting wealth and financial stability. Without them, even a high income can disappear quickly, leaving you vulnerable to financial stress. That's why financial literacy is not a luxury, but an essential life skill. Taking responsibility for your own financial education is the key to breaking free from the cycle of living paycheck to paycheck and achieving true financial independence.